Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow, okay, we're live now. I'm so excited, everybody. Woo! I am just so excited. For those who know me, I'm excited about almost everything. And I'm very excited today to be on Inova Solutions first live on LinkedIn. And if you are on, thank you so much for being here. I understand personally and professionally how many different lives and things can be catching your attention mentally and otherwise. So thank you for taking your time, whether it's your lunchtime or your bedtime, depending on the time zone that you're in, to come onto this session. We are so happy to have you here. So I am Laycya Holmes Graham. Yes, it's kind of long, so I'll say it again. It's Laycya Holmes Graham. If you don't if you can't pronounce lace, you can just call me Lace like shoes lace. I use that one all the time. You can't forget it. So I am Laycya Holmes Graham, and I am the Regional Customer Success Manager for Inova Solutions. I've been in ICT for the past 13 years, and it has been a journey. I have a background in computer science and electronics. So yes, I am a nerd. I do wear glasses and I can program.
Me too.
Yes, those who don't think that I can program. Yes, I do. And I love technology, but I also do have an MBA as well. So because I'm very curious about business and a lot of things. So I have a blend of technical and business acumen, and I've learned so much from my customers, persons who I've worked for in the past, Fujitsu and Microsoft. And there's so much to learn about the world in general, and I'm very passionate about people on a whole. So yes, that's just me. Inova Solutions itself, though, is a IT company, and we predominantly focus in the region on the Microsoft stack. So we focus on the Microsoft 365 technology, which is the secure modern workplace platform. We focus on Dynamics 365 as well as Microsoft Azure, right? Some people say Azure and some people say Azure. Some people have different pronunciations, but it's Azure, right? So that's who we are essentially. Inova is located in many countries across the region. So we're headquartered in Curacao, and we're located in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Ecuador, Trinidad, British Virgin Islands, whole heap of places, right? So we are a real Caribbean company, right? So that's us, and I am just so excited to introduce Jeroen Heerschop. I'm learning Dutch, so work with me, pray with me, please, right? Yep. He is the founder and managing director of Get Responsive, and he's been in ICT for 20 years.
Yeah.
So he has decades, 2 whole decades, so it's enough work him do. And we're just excited to have him on. So
Thank you
for having me. Presenting on business intelligence. So I'll let him speak for a moment, and then we'll get back to me.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, indeed, Get Responsive, and we are focusing on Power BI. So we're also in the Microsoft stack, and I'm calling from the Netherlands. So here it's 8 o'clock in the evening, indeed. And focusing on Power BI, I really love the product. So I'm going to show some examples, a quick demo later on. We're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about analytics, right? That's
correct.
Oh, yeah.
The topic. So thank you so much, Jeroen. So as you can see, he is from the Netherlands, completely different time zone. So this is a real international phone call. You know, when you used to have 3-way, right? This is one of those.
Yeah.
So today we are focusing on analytics, but we really wanted to do it in a different way. We are focusing on analytics of the human being, right? One of the things that we've been finding at Inova is a lot of persons have challenges managing their time. And I'll be really open with you. I have a lot of challenges managing my time. I am always in a rush. And it took a lot of introspection as well as the use of technology to manage that. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at a tool that is a part of the Office 365 and the Microsoft 365 platform called My Analytics. And a lot of people don't know about it. Most people don't. Every time I ask them, do you use My Analytics? Is that the Cortana thing? Cortana is a part of it, but I'm going to show you what it actually provides you so that you can actually use it to manage yourself. Okay. And then Jeroen is going to focus on how he uses analytics to manage his LinkedIn.
Yep,
right?
correct.
And not from a LinkedIn analytics perspective, he's going to show how he uses Power BI to manage his LinkedIn engagement. And I really want Jeroen to speak to how he does it and why he does it outside of the LinkedIn analytics, just so that you can get an understanding of how you can use technology in different ways. And this is really a conversation, so feel free to ask questions. In the chat, we'll post them up so that we can go through and also give us feedback as we're going along. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to share and then I'll be able to go ahead and share with you literally. I'm going to share with you my analytics. All right. Okay. So let's start off with the home section. So for every single person that has an Office 365 account, from the enterprise side, you have this technology called My Analytics. All you have to do is go to www.myanalytics.microsoft.com and it will bring up this data for you. Now, this is true transparency. This is actually my analytics, analytics about me at work. So I think my husband might be on, other people that know me. They're going to start to know about how I work, right? So that's fine. That's okay.
Will they recognize it, you think?
Well, they might
okay.
recognize it. Yeah. So it's broken up into 4 areas. When my analytics started, they started off with 4 areas alone, right? So they started off with focus, well-being, network, and collaboration. They've actually added a component called leadership, but I'm going to go to that area last, right? So we're going to start off with focus. Now, this is one of the most important areas because a lot of people right now, including myself, spend most of their day in meetings. Your day is filled with about 5 to 10, sometimes 13 meetings, and you haven't had any focus time. Now, what is focus time? Focus time is the time that you use to actually action what you've committed to. It's an area of time that you use to display integrity, right? And it's very important to actually book it. So what my analytics shows you week on week is where it is that you can actually book focus time. Now, for me, I've been using my analytics for, it would be 3 years this year. So I've learned quite a bit about it. And what it's showing here in this section is that I've booked 7 out of 10 days. So my analytics is planning for you for the current week and the week ahead. So I've already booked focus time for next week, and I don't have any focus time tomorrow because tomorrow is a solidly booked day. So that's fine. And I planned it in that way, right? So you need to use this in order to book time. Why do you need focus time? The reason that you need it is because you have a 40-hour work week, and you may end up finding yourself at the end of the week not actioning anything that you've needed to do for all the meetings that you've had. And then at the end of the month, you end up being swamped because you have to close things, you have to close activities, project tasks, and different milestones that you didn't get that to action because you didn't have any focus time. So it's so important for you to do that. And I have learned this the hard and the soft way as well. Right? So very important there. And let's go down. So if you notice, there's also analytics associated with your 4-week trend. So what it will do is it will highlight to you based on the different weeks in the past month or so. It's a 4-week trend, and it will show you, okay, how are you spending focus time versus collaboration time? Now, it's very clear to understand that this will look different for everybody based on their role, right? So some persons may have more focus time and some persons may have less. So for example, in my role, I need to have a balanced outlook of that because I need to collaborate a lot with people in order to serve our customers. So I need to have almost a balanced outlook, but at the end of the month, I do expect to have less collaboration time because I have to do a lot more focus time when I'm engaging with my customers. I'm calling them, I'm having one-on-one discussions with them, right? Which I do in my focus time. So this is the type of trend that I want to see. In this area here, now, it also has some suggestions. Now, these are really important for you to look at. And the reason that you want to have the suggestion area here being observed is because this is the constructive feedback. And the constructive feedback is what you use now to manage things that will trigger you having challenges, right? So here it says your calendar is usually less than 30% booked when the week starts. What that means for me is that I am booking a lot of meetings at the beginning of the week. So it will probably make a suggestion that I need to plan my calendar from the week in advance, right? I'm used to some of the suggestions. So what it does is it looks at the challenge that you have and gives a suggestion. A lot of the Microsoft products are like that because it doesn't make any sense. You tell you what's wrong and you don't have a solution. You need a solution, right? So I'm going to move forward. I don't want to steal Jeroen's thunder, right?
Okay. This is interesting.
So I find that it's very.
I think I should use it too because you mentioned a couple of things that I recognize a lot. So
yes, and
yeah.
it's very.
I didn't know it before this session, so for me it's
oh
also
really?
No, I really and it has been around for quite a while then.
Yes, it has been around for over 3 years, and I find that a lot of persons don't know it. And guys, don't feel any way that we kind of just randomize this. We really wanted to make this natural because we want to make sure that persons understand and learn afresh.
Yeah.
Okay. So time conflicts. Now, this is extremely common in all hemispheres. A lot of people, like just this week on Monday at 2:00, I had 3 meetings booked together at the same time within the space of 1 hour. I don't know what was happening this Monday, but everybody decided that they wanted to book a meeting at 2. So I had a standing meeting at 2 and 2 customers booked meetings at 2. So I had a challenge where I had time conflicts. And this is very common, and it can cause a lot of stress, and it can cause a lot of anguish, and it can affect your team as well. So it's very important for you to manage your time conflicts. So it will give a suggestion on how you can manage it. When they come up, do your best to reschedule your focus time or propose a new meeting time. Now, also too, it picks up if you're starting to use your focus time for meetings. That's going to defeat the purpose of having it. So if you are booking meetings in focus time, that means you're doing what you're trying not to do, right? So that's very important to observe. So this is the focus area, right? So please use it, try it out, Go to it now. Let me copy this area here, and I'm gonna put it in our private chat so Marcy can copy it and put it up as well. Please use it. Post about it as well. Hashtag us, hashtag Inova Solutions, hashtag My Analytics and Microsoft, and use it. This is so important. We really want people to start managing their time much better. So let's go to well-being. No, a blend of my MBA was HR. So I'm very, 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 very passionate about people and how they manage their well-being. Now, the well-being section is an area that you use to identify how you are managing your downtime. And I understand that a lot of people believe that you need to work without sleep and stuff like that. I don't agree. I believe it's important for you to take time to give yourself some rest. Some people might be on this live laughing because I was up until 12 o'clock this morning. But anyway, there are times like that. But it's important for you to look and see when you actually have days of quiet. Now, let's take a look at this screen, and I'm going to zoom in a little more. So what this is saying is quiet days are days without significant activity outside your working hours. That's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So quiet days here are days that I'm not working outside of work hours. The days that are in gray are days that I am, for the most part. I'm working normal hours and I'm working outside. Now, what I'll share is that there were periods where for months I had no purple. It was just gray. And I think a lot of persons, especially who may be asking themselves, why am I so tired? Why am I so stressed?
I was checking it now for myself, Laycya, but
Yes.
I'm afraid to mention what my number is for quiet days.
What is it? 0. Yes. No.
I think I have to change something maybe.
Right. No. I want to stay on this a little bit. I really do, because especially because of the pandemic now, there are a lot of people who are experiencing burnout.
Yeah,
and the reason that they're experiencing it is because they're not managing their quiet time.
No.
Now, you have a tool that most of us don't know about that's in the Office suite that does it for you all on its own. So why not use it and identify for yourself what it is that you are doing with your time? You do need to take the time to sleep. You need to take the time to read a book. You need to take the time to watch the clouds move, something other than working. You can't work all the time. Work is nice, and I'm passionate about work too, but you need quiet time in order to be creative in work time. So you have to let go of work at periods in order to be productive at work during working hours. Understood? So very important to manage that. And right here in the quiet hours disruptions, it will give me a metric, and it will say, for the most part, what am I doing in quiet hours disruption? I'm emailing people. Okay. So now what happens when I'm picking up my phone and I may be WhatsApping somebody? If I move to the email app and I remember this graphic, I'll close it a little faster. So you realize that these metrics can properly inform your thought processes as you're moving to do different things, right? So let's go down some more. So it says last week you worked on 3 cloud documents outside your working hours, and then it will give you some suggestions. Protect time during your workday to make progress on important documents. And this is why now it's important to have focus time. So you see it's blending together how important it is for you to have your focus time, right? Together there. Okay. So awesome. So let's continue. I want to move now to the network section. So the network section now communicates to you how you communicate with your network. Now, your network Let's be clear, because some people feel network is, the people that they have on LinkedIn, right? Your network is everybody you know. That's who your network is. Your network is the people that you interact with in your human existence. That's what I consider a network to be, right? So what this communicates to you is how many emails you've been sending, how which people you interact with the most actively, externally, who are new, who you consider to be important. And then as you go down, you'll be able to see how much time you spend with each person. Now, it's important for you to have that information to manage how you are interacting with each individual, right? Now, why that's important is because, say, for example, someone may come to you and say, oh, I don't think that you're interacting with persons internally enough. Then you can just say, well, no, not really, because I spent 31 hours interacting with someone
Is
internally.
this is what is he counting here? Is it the email time and the time in Teams or something, or what is
It's counting interaction overall, time in the
across all the applications?
entire suite. Right. So
Interesting. Yeah.
very important, and it also tracks external interaction as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that, let's think about it from an HR perspective. An appraisal conversation becomes more rich and quantitative rather than qualitative,
Yeah.
because this data exists. Now, let's be clear. I get this question a lot. This is mine. So my manager can't see this. It's my data. It's my data, and it can change as it pleases. He doesn't have access to it. It's my data. I'm sharing it for the demo. That's fine. I don't have any issues with that.
Do you know what insight I got out of my view? Because if you deactivate the map view, you see a list, and I noticed that my wife has to wait the longest for my reaction. Oof,
Really?
that can't be good. She has to
No.
wait on average for 3 hours before I react on an email.
Exactly. So
Ooh.
that's important as well.
Yeah,
So
that's an important insight that I've received
it's
now.
very important.
I
So
need to
say
action on that.
someone in your org, or maybe even a customer, because remember it manages
Yeah,
external. So a
yeah,
customer comes to you and says, Laycya, you took
yeah.
20 days to respond to my email. And then you can go and say, no, on average, I respond to you in 2 hours.
Yeah,
According to, and I can get even deeper on that. And so the conversations become more factual. Now that's
yeah,
important, because we're not spending time being emotional. No, emotions are important, but you still need the facts in order for us to make informed decisions and to have complex and hard conversations in order to move forward. So this tool, people feel it's simple, but it's not. It is really, really, really powerful. And
yeah,
I've seen it make a huge difference for a lot of persons at executive level and leadership level. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you can manage your time, you can manage a lot, right?
yeah.
And then let's move into the collaboration section, right? Because I realize I'm spending quite a bit of time here. I guess it's really important, eh? So I want to go into the collaboration section, and this actually gets into how I collaborate. Now, you're going to see here that I spend a lot of time multitasking. My attendance is very low for some meetings. Now, let me explain this now. The reason that this is, before some of my
Don't defend yourself.
is because some meetings I am highlighted as optional, so I don't have to go. So then invitations that are sent with at least a day's notice. This is the case especially for a lot of people in sales and marketing or otherwise. A lot of the time, sometimes you have to do things on the fly, and this can cause a lot of issues for people as well, right? No emails or chats sent during the meeting. So you can look at these habits, these little, I would call them IT etiquette. That's what I'd call them. And you'd be able to use these insights to determine how you can collaborate better. Because to be fair, it is very difficult to learn in a training session or to even focus in a customer meeting if you are sending emails, even if you're not the owner of the meeting. Because sometimes, and let's be honest here, if you're not the owner of the meeting, you just take it as an opportunity to do some other work, but it shouldn't be the case. You should be paying attention, because if anything goes wrong and somebody call your name and you're eating the pizza over there in the corner and you don't have a clue what the person
What
said
did I miss?
you're like, what? Can you repeat that, please? Everybody knows you weren't paying attention. Everybody knows you were sending an email. So just pay attention, right? And do what you need to do. I think also too, the pandemic has shown us that there is meeting etiquette, and you really do need to pay attention. I always tell people the meeting etiquette you displayed in physical meetings typically should be the meeting etiquette you display in virtual meetings. Okay. All right. So
maybe another interesting one. Did you put your camera on when you were meeting? That could also be a line there, maybe.
Yes,
because that's what I encounter a lot, that people don't activate the camera.
Right. And also, I'll give you a joke. There's a customer that I have that does not like to meet people without their cameras on.
No. Yeah.
Because there's a level of trust that they need to. You understand? So there are things that are important, and I find what I've noticed in terms of getting back, because I was on a maternity leave for a bit, because people miss each other physically, right? In terms of not being able to gather, just opening your camera makes the world of difference for a meeting. And it is very, very, very critical sometimes to just open it. You can close it back because the bandwidth is kind of rough if you have 16 people with everybody camera open. But it does add a softness to the meeting when it is that persons are able to show their faces. And they can now see your eyes, they can see your skin, they can see the color of your clothes, they can see your hair.
Yeah, it's a part of the non-verbal communication.
There we go.
You see that people someone paying attention. If I look like this, then okay, I'm listening. And if I do like this, okay, he's not listening.
Exactly.
You need that. This maybe even more important than the verbal part.
Very much
so. How people react.
Very much so. And then also too, right here, the communication habits. Now, this was recently added too, and it's really nice. No, I love this one. Why? This one is basically like it's like an organogram of my life. So I can know my work life from this graph. So I know that from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8, I am typically not doing much work because I'm doing a lot of personal things at this time. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have 2 children. So at this time between 4 and 6, I am doing a lot of things. I'm doing my mom job at this point. So I'm not reading much emails and so forth. Between 8 and 12, obviously, as you can see here, it is my highest period of mental and creative activity because the bar graphs are the highest there. Now, why it's important to understand that is because you need to know when you're most creative so that you can produce. Most companies now are more concerned about output. Most of us now have to change and be flexible to the possibility or the understanding that work is no longer a place and it's no longer a time, because people work in different time zones. So if somebody is working from 1 a.m. to 7 p.m. or they're working from 1 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they have to go to the supermarket because we have curfew and all of these things, right? That's the openness we have at Inova as well. There's an understanding that if there's curfew at 12 o'clock on Friday, then people might not be available after 12 because they have to get the children to bed. There are different things that happen. So this is very important to note for yourself. So 12 o'clock now, I usually take a little mental break here. It's very important for me to go into the second shift. But as you can see here, I'm going to come to that question Do you need to find, let me just add that here. Do you need to find, make
Hmm.
entries in Outlook in order to get an analytics report? No, 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 you don't. This analytics report or this data is automatically sent to you every beginning of the week.
No,
So,
I actually opened it for the first time 20 minutes ago, and
right,
everything is already filled in. I didn't do anything in my program, so it
right. It's
already monitors it.
It's
Yeah,
already does it. It was sending it to you from before and you were ignoring it. That's what's happening. So
correct.
you don't need
Yeah.
to enter anything. The analytics is already there, right? So I was going back to the second shift. So I have the second shift here. And then also I do spend time, reading and calling customers in the evening because you have some customers who you can only access after 5 and 6 and 7, 8, 9, and so forth. But there's another interesting thing about graphs and analytics that I enjoy. If you notice, for me, I spend most of my time reading. I don't spend a lot of my time writing
Hmm.
or sending email. I consume more content than I produce,
Yeah.
right? So that's important to note. So you can also use this to understand more about yourself as an employee and making suggestions for paths of growth and different. It's just really powerful, guys. It's so fun. I love it. So, really and truly, guys, I would recommend, highly, highly recommend that you use the My Analytics, use the meeting suggestions, the different suggestions that it has. Very similar for those of you who know the enterprise mobility security, where it has the protect, detect, respond, and it gives you the suggestions for how to mitigate against things going forward. Most of Microsoft technologies like that. There's no point in identifying the problem if you don't have a solution. You need a solution to the problem, right? So all of them, all of the suggestions usually have a solution, right, associated with that. Now I want to touch the leadership part here. So the leadership part now has to do with when you have direct reportees. Now I've only added this person because I used to be the country manager of Inova. I don't have direct reportees anymore. Jermaine McDonald, I think he's on the live too. Hi, Jermaine. Um, he has the direct reportees. So he would have this leadership section. And the leadership section has basically analytics associated with how you interact with your direct reportees. Why is it important to have that information? Well, most people leave because they're not engaged. It's as simple as that. You need to understand your staff. Now, let me be clear. You can't see the data because everybody will say, oh, can you see data about the person? No, you can't. What you can see is based on the meetings that you have with them, if it is that you did what you were supposed to do with them. When was the last time you met with them? What is
Hmm.
happening? And that sort of thing, right? So, what is your meeting impact having on them? So, it's important for you to use this area. I won't spend too long on it, right? But I really, really want to highlight everybody that My Analytics is really important. And I think that most persons have been focusing, and let me be clear, analytics is great for organization and businesses and so forth, but you need to analyze yourself. We need to analyze ourselves too. Just like how we're spending time to analyze finance, accounting, everything, we need to spend some time analyzing our habits, our behaviors, the way how we interact with each other, everything, because that does have an impact on business financials. It has an impact on profits. It has an impact on customer satisfaction as well, very heavily too. So if we can better manage ourselves as employees, we can much better serve our internal customers who are our colleagues, and also our customers who are external as well. And I don't like the word external. for customers. That's not nice. I think customers, you should call them your friends, right? That's how I look at customers. So I'm going to pause now. I spent a lot of time, but I thought it was really important to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very interesting. Yeah, I learned a lot.
that's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
yeah,
If you learned a lot, please hashtag learn a lot. I like that hashtag.
learned a lot.
That hashtag nicey. Learned a lot,
Yeah.
please. So that we can, we can see that you enjoyed it and everything. And if you have any more questions, please feel free. Now I'm going to hand over to Jeroen now to show the analytics
Yeah,
that he
it's
uses
getting
for
dark here, so I'm
it's
turning the
can
light
you
on.
imagine it
So,
getting that?
ooh, wow, it's,
Yeah.
flash. So that's better. Eh? I'm a little bit
Okay.
more visible then.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you, Laycya. And yeah, what I'm gonna be showing is another way of analyzing your data, also with a Microsoft product called Power BI. Um, maybe the moderator can share my screen, then I will switch. Is it on the screen?
Yes, I'm seeing your
Yeah.
screen.
Ah,
I'm
okay,
seeing
cool.
the screen.
Thank you. And I'm the director of Get Responsive, and like I said, we give training and consultancy in Power BI. We do that at a lot of larger companies, smaller companies also in the Netherlands. And now we're happy to be partnering with Inova. So also Inova will be providing trainings in Power BI, and Power BI is a fast growing solution. And I use it for a lot of things myself also. And I love to talk about Power BI on LinkedIn because clients are your friends. Yeah, I like to share first before you have a commercial connection. Let me just tell you about what Power BI is. I have a lot of live sessions, like with Marika last Thursday also. So we're also live on LinkedIn, and we talk about different aspects of Power BI. We have Q&As. I'm talking at the Power BI Summit. If you haven't heard about it, it's very interesting, by the way. It's an international, it's a 3 different time zones. Power BI Summit, April 19 till 23. There are over 100 speakers.
That's
So
nice.
just globalpowerbisummit.com. It's very interesting. And I like to share that kind of information. And so a large part of my company is first sharing, right? We first share, and if people like it and they want to know more, they come to us. I'm not doing cold sales or whatever. I hate it. Just tell what it is, and hopefully people like it. So then I thought, when I started with that 2 years ago, first small posts and later maybe a small video with myself in 3 pixels in the bottom right. I don't want to be in the
Right.
picture. And now I'm doing a live show internationally. Now it's crazy and fun. So I made a dashboard which shows me how are we doing on mainly on LinkedIn. We also broadcast on YouTube and other social media, but mainly on LinkedIn. So I wanted to know, okay, how many people watch our content, right? You saw on LinkedIn, you saw here that the post from today, for example, okay, now 700 people have seen that one, and this one 500. Now, Coinbase, off topic. Sometimes you don't always need to talk about Power BI. But you see, it's a lot of hassle to get it out of LinkedIn, right? I want to have that in one overview, and I don't want to type it all in an Excel or something from LinkedIn. So I will show you how I do this. But first, let me show you what the end result is that I use frequently. I have here insight in how many people watched our content. Uh, what posts are watched the most? So 25,000 people saw my post. Oh, is Power BI the new Excel? There's a lot of discussion around it. It's always good for visibility on LinkedIn. It's a tip. Always post a question on LinkedIn. Then you have a lot of comments. Then you have a lot of reactions and a lot of visibility. And I have to type. So I can say, okay, we started around a year ago with live events. So 200,000 people watched it. Now, the program manager of Power BI at Microsoft, that's still the most watched episode with 12,000 while my wife drops her glass. And here you see it over time. And yeah, so I have a lot of information here. What I also have is, okay, how many people are following us? How many people are watching our website?
Wow.
And I do some analysis on, for example, the interaction between the first hour. How many people watch it in the first hour? That's the horizontal axis. And the vertical axis is how many in total. So I'm an analyst by nature. So I want to see, okay, if more people watch it in the first hour, will that impact also the total views? Well, it depends. It depends on the number of likes in total. So let's not get into those details, but that is all possible. So how did I do this? How did I get this in this interactive? Because I can click on everything, right? I can click on a specific month. You saw me already clicking on a video. I can say also here, I want to filter on something, or maybe I want to on a specific topics, maybe on design. I want to have on design the performance there. So I can interact with it. And that's what I like about Power BI. So this is the online environment of Power BI. So how did I arrive at this data? Well, I use a tool called Shield App. So it's shieldapp.ai. Here, shieldapp.ai. And that's a Chrome extension. And when you load this Chrome extension, you see it here also being active. It's this little S here. There's this OK mark there. So it's live linking to LinkedIn and retrieving data all the time. And when you log in, it looks like this. So also here you already have a dashboard, which maybe for a lot of people is already enough. So here you see the number of views over time. You have some time dimensions that you can see it for the quarter to date and the year to date and by week, etc. You see the likes and how it is developing this year and last year. But also it gives a lot of information per post. So you saw this post. I share a lot via LinkedIn. Ik deel via LinkedIn in Dutch. That's also here. See? So these are all my posts on LinkedIn. And the most recent one on the top. That's this one. And I see the information. I can inspect it also here and say, this is all information being retrieved from LinkedIn. And I see over time, for example, here also, now, how is the development of the views over time and the likes over time? How is it accumulating over time? Who watched it? But all this information, you can also extract. And so what you can do is this list you have here. And let me show, for example, 50 on one page. You see here a little export button. You see export.to CSV.
CSV, right.
Right? So I did that already before the session. I downloaded this. It's just a CSV file. You see it here also on the bottom still. See? It's exporting this table to a CSV file. Now, let's now move to Power BI Desktop. So this is Power BI Desktop. You can download it for free. The online environment you saw at the beginning of my demo, that you have to pay for, €8 per month. This is for free. So you can just play around with it, try things out without paying anything. Just Google Power BI Desktop download and you will get the link. It's also in the Windows store. You can download it also from there. And what I can do is import or load this CSV file. See here this button, Get Data. So I click that. And it will, in a minute, show a very long list of all possible data you can load. Because in Power BI, you can combine data from all kinds of different sources. The dashboard I showed used CSV files maybe, but also used Google Analytics for the website activity. I can just link to it. I log in one time, and I can retrieve all the data that's underneath the solution. For Facebook, there is also, maybe not. For LinkedIn, I know there is one there. For the Sales Navigator, you have a direct link. So I'm going to do now the CSV file. Also do APIs, for example. There's a direct connection to cloud solutions. But let's, for this demo purpose, I'm going to load this CSV file. So the CSV file is there. And it's now going to load this data into the memory. And you see here already a part of the list. You see, same post again here. And I'm going to transform it first because you see already here, yeah, that shield app in the line, first line. I don't need that. I want a clean table, of course, to be doing my visualizations on. So I'm going to pick first transform data. And then it gets to Power Query, which actually is also in Excel. A lot of people,
This is
a lot of people don't know
this is my favorite part of Power BI. It
it is,
reminds me
because you can
so much of
manipulate it. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So because a lot of people in the world calling about quality of work, the topic of before, are still spending a lot of time on manipulating Excel files and making the vertical lookups and, oh, there's a mistake and how can I solve this? Well,
Right.
this can replace that because here I do a one-time correction on this file and saying each and every time you need to apply these changes. Every time I refresh the dashboard, please load the data again and apply all these steps that I'm doing now one time. And that saves a lot of time and a lot of mistakes because it's automated. So here, for example, I see that the first two lines of the CSV file, actually, they are not useful, right? I can just remove them. So you see all kinds of buttons here on the top with which you can transform this data, right? So I'm going to say, let's remove the first two lines. So I say remove rows, and remove the top rows. And say number of rows I want to remove is 2. So now you see it has been removed. You see here on the right-hand side, you see all the different transformations that I'm doing. So first it loaded the source, and now it said remove some rows. I can also change that again. So if I made maybe a mistake and I only should have removed one row, I just click on this little icon here and I can say, no, actually it's only one row. So you can fully maintain how he is transforming the file. So now I want to move the first line to the names of the fields because now it's column 1, 2, 3. Now I want to be doing visualizations on names of fields, of course. So use first row as headers. And what I'm seeing now, it has been promoted. And now it looks already quite okay. I think I can work with this. So now I'm saying, please load this data now and apply the transformations that I just defined. Right?
Okay. So while that's loading, because I know it can take a little while.
It is there.
Well, you're fine. You have a powerful machine. I'm not saying that
It's
my
not a
machine
lot of rows.
is just all right. It's probably a really small file. There was a question, so I want to address that question that says, how does it track, that's my analytics, how does it track interactions across other programs? The last I checked, it doesn't do that. It only tracks interaction across the Microsoft platforms or anything that would interact with Microsoft platforms. That's my understanding at the moment. I can double check that because Microsoft does really, honestly, they change things on the fly. I'll be in a presentation and I say something and I find out that it's something different. So I have to be very open to understanding that things change on the fly. Right. So if there are any other questions, we'll address them after. But I do want Jeroen to continue making a few visuals and then we can have our call to action.
Yeah, I only need a couple of more minutes or so. I'm just going to show you how easy it is now that I've loaded the data, made some small corrections to make it really usable for me now. Because now you see here that it has loaded the data, and you see these column names. So it's actually this table that I had in Shield app. He exported or is loaded now in Power BI. So what I can do now is create visualizations, and that's very easy in Power BI. So you just drag and drop fields like it's explained here in the middle. So what if I want to see the number of views by type of content that I make? So I just drag the field called type, the column, and drag it to here, to my dashboard. And I get a list, hopefully, of all the types. So you see videos, and I've posted things with an image included or only text. Eh?
Right.
And I can include there also the number of views. So you see here a field called number views, and it's a little bit like a pivot table in Excel. So I can just add fields here. Now, currently, it's not an exciting thing. It's just a table, right? But it's also a visualization. But here I have all kinds of choices to make a different kind of visualization. So maybe let's do a bar chart. So I just click here on the table and say, change it to a bar chart. Or you can put it like this. Or, oh, no, I'm not going to do the pie chart.
No,
But you can do it.
no, go ahead.
Or
Go ahead.
this,
Well, it's
So
actually
it's very easy to change the way you want to, what best fits your purpose, right?
can you change it back to the one that typically like World Health Organization uses and stuff? Those right, that one, the tree map.
Tree
That
map.
one very popular. A lot of
Yeah.
people like one.
Okay, cool. Now let's
Just
do that one.
mhm.
So I can make it larger. It's just like PowerPoint. You can just adjust it and move it around, and there's some helping lines there to make it really nicely organized. That's important to a dashboard. So let's put it here for now, right? We can change it later. Let's add another visual. And the cool thing is I can format this one a little bit. So let's do a little bit better title. So views per type, per content type or something. Here we can do all kinds. I'm not going to do too much now, but you can manipulate all the layout of that visual. So let's add a nice shadow, for example. Let's leave it at that for now. I can copy and paste it, just like a PowerPoint. This visual, just Control C, Control V I did. And I can put here a second visual. You see that already the same layout has been applied. And let's put here, for example, over time. How many views over time? So I've here the date of the post. And let's put the month now in the x-axis. Now I'm going to switch away from this. I've changed it to this kind of chart. And I can just add, you see, I've added now the month in the axis, and the values is still the views. And now I've here the views by month, right? And it's interactive right away. So I don't
Right.
need to program anything to make it interactive. I can just now click on March, and you see that this is interacting. You see? Or I select the image, and it's interacting. You see? So it's all nicely talking to each other. Now, let's add one more visual. I'm just copying and pasting it again.
Nice.
Because actually, I discovered that in this download, you also have the hashtags. And I like that a lot. So,
Oh,
the hashtags that I used the
oh,
most, for example.
nice.
So let's put it like there. Okay, this is the hashtags in the x-axis and the number of views. I deleted too much. So let's put it back in the values. Number of hashtags. Oh, no, I make a mistake. It's this one. Sorry. It's not number of hashtags. It's hashtags. Okay. Here, okay, it's putting them next to each other. You see? I talked about love and business, you see? But also Power BI a lot, of course. But there is also, and that's the final thing I'm going to show you, is that you can add a custom visual. Because you have here the more default visuals. But actually, there is a whole marketplace, most of
Yeah.
them are free,
Yes.
of other visuals. And I think a word cloud might be nice here because it's a lot of words, and I want to see the hashtag that I use the most. I assume it is Power BI. Will pop up
Or
the largest in the word cloud.
it could be get responsive though. It could be
No,
get.
I don't use that in the
You don't use. Oh,
hashtag.
it's because it's too long. It's too long.
Yeah. So you see here a whole library of additional visualizations from Gantt charts to KPI visuals to VCO visuals. But let's look. Oh, here it is already. Word Cloud. You can add it to Power BI and you can right away apply it to this visual. So here, let's add a word cloud. And so here you now see the words, and you can also that format it a little bit, saying, well, actually don't show hundreds of words, show the top 25. That's enough. And let's see if I can, I
That's
put the
very
rotation off. So Power BI indeed, training
interesting.
first, business, Get Response Live is the name of our, So here, and this is also interactive. So I want to see, okay, how did I do when I used our new online learning platform, Power Up? Okay, I touched, yeah, it's new in March, so it started talking about in March. So this is the number of views that I got when I used the word Power Up. This summit that I was just talking about. Oh, I talked about it in January, that I was a guest there, and now in April, oh, it's almost there. In April, I'm a guest. So it's fun to play around with, right? It's very interactive. It's not a static Excel file.
Nice.
It's an interactive dashboard.
Awesome.
Cool,
Thank
huh?
you so much.
You're
Jay.
welcome.
Sorry, I can't call you Jay.
Oh, Jay is also fine, or I don't mind.
No, well, no, because there's another Jay, and I'm sure he's
Oh,
gonna come on one of our lives one
oh
day.
yeah, I know,
Is on, yes.
yeah.
So right, and I just wanted to comment about Power BI. So Jeroen's team has been teaching us at Inova as well, and they're our partner working with us in the Power BI space. So quick plug. They do Power BI training and they work on the entire Power BI Power App platform as well,
Yeah,
and they're working with
correct.
us, they're partnering with us as well. So we're doing a lot of work together. It is an area of immense value and opportunity for a lot of customers. You can literally save millions of dollars just with Power Automate and Power Apps alone. There's
Yeah.
so many stories internationally with how the Power Platform, not just Power BI, Power Apps and Power Automate has saved companies a lot of money. So I would invite you to get our contact information and work with us as well. We'll share it as well. Marcy will share it in the chat or wherever so that you can get in touch with us. I definitely wanted to speak to two comments in the presentation that you gave or the sharing that you gave. I remember watching a video. I think I was doing some training or something, and there is a particular customer that used a visual with a painting, and when they were profitable it would turn green.
Ah, right.
So the painting's face would turn green, and when
Yeah.
they were not it would turn red.
Hmm.
So that's
Interesting.
how personalized you can get with Power BI. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be boring. It can be
No.
very creative. And I also want to talk
Correct.
about word wall. A word wall is a very popular visual in most Power Analytics or analytics platforms across all different technologies. And it actually came out of, I think it came out of one of the application suites under the CRM or Dynamics flavor, something called Customer Insights, where you were able to take data from the different social media platforms and create word walls and assess customer sentiment. So imagine that you can do it on your own. Also, I wanted to share, why in the world would you want to do your own analytics? So you're a marketer and you're a salesperson. Why would you want to do that? Google already do it, Facebook already do it, LinkedIn already do it. Why? Well, the reason is because you know what you want to see. Not everything that everybody puts out there is what you want to see. You know exactly what you need to consume and what you want to consume. Your metrics are set by your company. So it's really important for you to be able to learn to create it on your own. And also, since it's so easy, right? It's just a matter of getting an understanding and then being open to the creation for yourself, right?
Yep.
Analytics is not hard. It really isn't. And especially for those of us who come from technology or any discipline where you have to do a lot of work, all you have to do is spend a little time and just get some stuff done. So thank you so much for joining our live. We have a call to action. The first call to action is get in contact with us. Get in contact with Inova Solutions. Get in contact with Get Responsive. Message us, get in contact with us, ask us your questions. If you weren't excited enough to ask questions, or maybe you were shy, you were shy,
Maybe.
you want to comment, you can send a message to us one away, and ask us the questions. Get in touch with us. We have a lot to share and a lot of help to provide. So get in touch with us. The other call to action is we have our next live next week. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis. So our next live,
There, eh?
it's
Oh,
here
there.
for us, is going to be on our insecure world. We are seeing across the region and the world so much cybersecurity challenges. And we have a lot to share, of course, naturally, discreetly about how technology and also human behavior is contributing to that, and how human behavior and technology can actually assist in mitigating against some of what we're facing today. So please put this in your calendar, get used to the Wednesday, come on, share, grab your food, your coffee. I know some of you drink coffee all the time, right? So come on and, keep yourself engaged with us. And if you have any suggestions or questions, please, 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 please let us know. We want to know and understand how to improve. Analytics is important to us as well. And in order for us to serve you, we have to know what you need, right? So thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon. Please be safe. Take the vaccine. If you're not so sure about it, think about it, right? Consider it, do your research, whatever mode of operation for assessing that. Take it and so forth. But be safe. Remember to social distance, mask up, sanitize, wash your hands. Please be safe, be productive, and analyze. All right. And thank you so much, everybody, and have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh.